Should I look there or should I look at him?
Either you can look at me, you can look at him sometimes if he asks you a question. Okay? Alright, go.
My name is Jinky Navarro. I am 36 years old. And I am PWD. I had spinal cord injury 11 years ago. Now, today is November 16. And on the 26th, I'll be celebrating the 11th anniversary of the accident. I used to call it 11th, or I used to call it anniversary of the accident. But actually, last year, when I celebrated the 10th anniversary, which marks a decade, I kind of had a change of mind and change of heart on how I look at things and how I look at my life. And so I started celebrating it, looking at it as the anniversary of my second life. And this second life brings so much hope to me, brings so much strength, and I believe that the hope there is and the strength there is that I can feel inside me, there are a lot of people who needs that, and I believe that there are a lot of people who should read what I've always wanted to write, because I've been trying to write a book, and I also believe that there are a lot of people who needs to know my story, because I'm sure that they are going to learn something from my story, because I was already 25 when the accident happened. I was shot by a 38 caliber pistol. The bullet entered here. As you can see, my clavicle is broken and I have a scar here. The bullet entered on my left shoulder, and since it hit the clavicle, the bullet turned inside. Okay, instead of just going out, there wasn't any port of entry. Then it was stuck on the T8 and T9 level of my spinal cord. And unfortunately, since I was rushed in a public hospital where the standard is first come, first serve, even if my situation is emergency, the bullet needed to be pulled out right away, but no. I needed to wait for 2 weeks, I think, 3 weeks, before I got scheduled in an operating room just to have the extraction of the bullet. But that was 11 years ago. I've learned so much, and I normally call it a decade of endurance. It's a lot of battles. Okay? There were lots of battles that you didn't actually win. But every morning you still wake up. You still have to face the day, still have to face life. And that's the time I realized I need to find a job. I tried applying. I get hired easily, but the problem is the compensation is not enough for the new normal, which is really expensive. I have to pay for an assistant, I have to take a cab back and forth, which is too expensive, and I have medicine to say. And then I realized that maybe an online job will be the best for me. I wouldn't have to go out. I wouldn't need an assistant to carry me to and outside the house, to the wheelchair and to a cab, and then again I wouldn't have muscle pains. I wouldn't have complications, because spinal cord injury has complications, and they're actually more dangerous than spinal cord injury itself. And it took me a lot of years before I found legit online jobs. I was actually already frustrated and hopeless, because in the internet there are a lot of scams. There are a lot of people who just want to get money from you. They don't care if you are disabled. They don't care if you really don't have money. But their modus operandi is just to victimize people. And I've been a victim twice or thrice. Instead of gaining, I lost. And through research, I discovered Odesk, is when I started getting part-time jobs. But then again, with my condition, you maintain medicines, vitamins. There are a lot of expenses. Okay, so a part-time job is just not good. And last year I had a chance to be featured in a TV show. It's called Wish Ko Lang. It's a public service program. Okay. The aim of the program is to reach out and help people who have great needs. It goes like you're going to send them a letter, tell them your condition, and make a wish. My mom and I wrote a letter to the TV program, and I was actually asking them, we were actually asking them that if they could give me the chance to undergo stem cell therapy again, because 5 years ago I had the privilege to undergo stem cell therapy, experimental stem cell therapy at St. Luke's Medical Hospital, and Dr. Joven Guanang, the Medical Director and Executive Vice President of St. Luke's, is the one who personally handled my case. He is so generous with his decisions, and I passed all the tests. There were certain improvements during those times when we were doing the experiment, but then again, it was a failure in a sense that it's going to take 30 years, they cannot tell, 40 years, almost. Considered as a failure because they are not going to spend 10 million again and again, because every time I go there they spend 10 million pesos for the experiment. And with that I am really grateful. And the reason why I actually enrolled myself into an experimental treatment is because I knew, I researched my case, I researched about stem cells and how am I going to be cured. I want to get my life back. That's what I was thinking back then. I need my life back because I felt like I lost it, or somebody snatched it away from me with just a 30 peso worth bullet. And since then, it became a battle. With that experience, I became a very good researcher for myself. And they were actually surprised when they were talking to me, the doctors, the nurses. I know more. I know more than they do. And we also had a specialist doctor from Singapore. He's Dr. Cho Cheng Peng. He is actually a stem cell superstar in Gleneagles Hospital in Singapore because he has a lot of success stories. Unfortunately, history did not repeat itself when they were doing the experiment on me, because in the first place they were doing the experiment with the animals, and then again I found it as an opportunity to really offer myself. If you're doing it on the animals, why not do it on human? Maybe the reason why there is no success story for human beings because you haven't tried, or maybe no one has dared to brave, to lie down in a cold lab table and be the replacement of the guinea pigs. And I can do that, and I made it clear to them that I can even discuss that and sign a waiver, and that was an experience. That was an experience, but
so they allowed you to do it?
yes.
Oh wow! I'm surprised.
Yes, and on the contract that I signed, it's just a one-time stem cell therapy, but there was a mistake when they were extracting bone marrow. There was a mistake. They were supposed to get just a few amount, but then they extracted too much. And from the bone marrow, they're going to process it to separate mononuclear cells, red blood cells, white blood cells, and the mononuclear cells is what they get, and they're going to put it into another process which they could extract these stem cells. The process is analogous, which means I am also the recipient and the donor. Okay, so they took the bone marrow from me, the stem cells came from me, and they're going to return it back to the damaged part of my spinal cord. And there had been success stories of the same process. They have that amount, but why would they give that amount to just one person when they can actually help a lot with 5 million pesos? A lot of people. They can actually help a lot of people with that amount. And I understand. So instead of giving me the chance to get cured, they just gave me the normal stuff that they give to their recipients. You know, the grocery items, some things, some merchandise to sell. And I got 6 scholarships, and 4 of which are IT courses, and 2 are scholarship for speech and confidence. And I still haven't finished all the courses. I'm still attending those. And with that TV program, a staff of Gymnasium Lay was actually watching and discovered me, and then she researched me on Facebook. She found me there, sent a friend request, and then that's the time we were able to talk to each other, and then she offered me a job if I'm interested to apply to be an English coach, because although the TV program is in Filipino, I normally speak in English. That's why they found out that I actually speak good in English. And so she thought maybe I could be, maybe I can be a coach. And I wasn't actually prepared, because we were just talking like old friends on the phone or through Skype, and she asked me about my resume. I said I'm not ready with it because I don't have MS Office. So my resume is done in Open Office, which I personally don't think is professional and presentable enough. But then again, she insisted that it's okay, I just want to see it. But when I sent her my resume, she sent it right away to Miss Carla Pendan from the HR, and then I got a call, I received an email, and that was in the month of June, and I was actually writing a book. I was busy back then because another televiewer of Wish Ko Lang offered me to co-write her autobiography. It was successfully launched, and I was busy with that book, so I wasn't able to concentrate with my application on Gymnasium. But right after I finished the book, I contacted Ma'am Delia. I said that I'm ready. I'd like to try this, if this is for me, if I could pass. And then everything went well. I was laughing. I was having really fun last night with my students. I love Taylor CPU students. They are really intelligent people. And before, I just talked to myself. I have no one upstairs. As you can see, all I have here is my mom and the kids. Not my kids. Nieces and nephews. And it's been years, and I'm already old. I'm 36. And all my friends have their families of their own. I hardly see them anymore. I really don't talk to anyone at all, except the people I meet online. And I'm glad that now I get to talk to a lot of people every session, and that gives me joy. And aside from that, teaching is my passion. I've always wanted to teach. The reason why I didn't take education, I took mass communication, majored broadcasting, because during those times, teachers are always on the street carrying placards, they have rallies because they don't get salary. So I was kind of disappointed that I'm not going to be rich if I pursue a career on teaching. But then again, given all the situation, everything has been said and done, now I'm teaching. And I was actually telling that to my students last night, because I really don't have sessions for 12 midnight. My last session is always 11 p.m. But then again, EMT asked me if I could stay for a while because they are going to give me another student. I thought it was the student that was cancelled because of a very bad internet connection. And I didn't realize that it is another student I'm going to make sub. And while I was talking to the student is really very talkative. Instead of me asking questions to him, he's asking questions to me. And he asked me, you sound tired. Are you tired? Are you sleepy? No. It's just that I'm taking a little time to review your profile because I am just your substitute coach. I wasn't able to review your profile. I don't know anything about you yet. Would you mind telling me about yourself? And then he did not answer my question. He just said, so I am the bad news because you're supposed to be resting. And then I told him no, because I've always loved teaching. Teaching is my passion. Actually, when I'm tired, if I get to teach, I get relaxed because I get to do the thing that I love to do, and I don't really consider this as my work. And on top of that, I also got what I have been looking for, and it's an opportunity to earn because no one is supporting me. I am actually the only one working here. My mom is a volunteer worker in a church. She cooks for the school. The school has the church has a school. She's a volunteer worker, and I'm basically technically the breadwinner. And I'm happy. I'm happy that although I am seated on a wheelchair or I just stay in my bedroom, I still could prove something to myself. I know I don't need to prove anything to anyone, but to myself, that because I've been through a really dark times when I wake up and I don't know why. I don't know. I already lost reason for living. I ask God every night. I ask God, why am I still here? I cannot see any purpose. I can no longer make myself happy because I can no longer think. I can no longer do the things that I want to do because the things that I want to do are the things normal people can do. And by normal, I mean having a normal body. I was 25. I can remember. I can still remember clearly how it feels, how it was. And I still didn't lose hope that maybe one day in God's way, in ways that I don't know, or maybe I won't need money, or maybe I won't need stem cells at all. Maybe God will just, give it to me because He can do that.
You're really a very good storyteller.
Yeah,
You really got a talent, huh?
Yeah.
Very good storyteller. Can I ask a question? Are you plotting the midnight shift? Are you actually plotting it?
I used to. I used to plot 12, 1, and 2.
Yeah.
But I observed that there are a lot of students in the afternoon.
Okay.
So I start my sessions at 3 p.m. And then my last session is 11.
I see. Okay.
Because if I still
Too long. Yeah.
plot, if I would still plot 12, 1, and 2, I think I might end up in a hospital.
Okay. All right. Well, it's good that you let EMT know, just in case they need somebody, they may call you, and if you still feel up to it, you can always take an extra session, and you get paid extra for past midnight. I think we still have the premium, right? Past midnight. Hishao, questions?
Well,
quite a story, right?
Yeah. Well, just first, you're working here in the second floor?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's not actually a second floor. It's just a mezzanine. It's just less than 4 feet high, I think. I used to entertain visitors up there, but then when somebody called me, I think his name is Benz. Yes, and he told me yesterday that Thomas is going to come with other people. Then I thought, am I going to let these people suffer crawling? So I just decided to okay, I'll be the one to go down.
Oh,
I see. So if I come on my own, I'll be crawling upstairs, is it?
Maybe. I guess.
Okay.
And the room is too small. You won't fit.
And after you got injured, you hospitalized, right? And
Yes.
then you have the rehabilitation as well?
No, I wish I had, but I already resigned from my job as vice president for marketing in a certain telecommunications company. I was actually working my papers abroad, and when the accident happened, what I'm trying to say is that I really don't have savings when the accident happened. I know that after the accident, I was advised by the doctors that I should undergo rehabilitation, I should undergo some psychology sessions, something like that. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to undergo those procedures because I don't have enough money to pay for those. And I think it took me 2 years.
To adopt your
Yes,
disability.
it took me 2 years before I could really adopt. Before, I was just lying down for the first year. I cannot even sit on my
See,
own.
when you come back
Yes,
home,
yes.
just from the hospital to the home.
Yes, yes. Everything was too painful, as if there are electricity
Right.
flowing around in my arms. They have, when I move them, I can feel electricity flowing, and that was just too painful. Even the air coming from the electric fan when it reached me, that was too painful. Yes, that became, my body became too sensitive with a lot of things. It took me 2 years before I could say that I was finally recovered without the help of a therapy, without rehabilitation, and I learned things doing on my own. And when I had a chance, actually, the only excuse me. The only chance I had is when I was given a chance to undergo the experimental stem cell procedure, which was 5 years ago. At St. Luke's, they gave me everything. They were so generous with the technology, the medical attention. So that was the only time I experienced therapy, medical attention.
So you don't have any other like friends with a disability like you? You don't have the friends, someone have the same kind of disability
No,
and giving
no.
you advice? No.
That is
Wow.
why whenever I have time and whenever they have time, people from international, I ask them personal questions. How long have you been in that situation?
Right,
What is your case? Because it's the first time I am meeting people with disability.
Oh,
I
really?
haven't got to talk to them. And I think just 3 nights ago, at 4 a.m., I can't sleep. And then I logged in on Skype and saw somebody from EMT. And I
Hill.
approached-
There must be Hill, right?
That's Hill.
Yeah, yeah.
I approached him. I asked him first, are you busy? And then he said, not really. Okay, so you need to talk to me. And then I asked him, how long have you had polio? How long have you been sitting in a wheelchair? He said, since he was a kid. And then I told him, that must be easier for you. Because
You don't miss something that you never had
Yes.
before. Yeah.
in my previous job, I used to travel from Luzon to Mindanao. I
Mm.
was able to help the company put up franchise offices, 86 franchise offices. I used to travel.
It's the same thing, you know. Among we have many visually impaired people working for us. I think the general opinion is that it's better to have been born blind
Yes.
than to become blind at a later age, because you know what it's like to see, you know what you miss, but you have never known what it's like to see. You don't miss anything. It's quite a remarkable thing. So you feel free to disturb any of our staff if you need to talk and chat. You know, you can always ask them whether they're busy. I'm pretty sure they would, you know.
They are.
Yeah,
have been very
yeah. So
approachable.
yeah. So we do have quite a large number. Do you know how many PWD staff we have? Permanently on the payroll is 40. Coaches who are paid by like you, probably another dozen. But the large number of them are actually from China. So you can actually speak to colleagues in China. We've got colleagues in Vietnam, in Malaysia, Singapore. You know, so you can have a lot of fun talking to people from around the world who have similar
This is the
situations.
first time starting to learn
Yeah.
from people with disability because this is the first time we get to meet
Yeah.
people with disability.
Do you know? Have you met Boon?
Not yet.
Boon, he's monitoring. You meet him. Boon is Singaporean. He's a young fellow, very very smart. He has muscle dystrophy, which is a degenerative disease. So he's in a wheelchair, and he has maximum 5 years to live. He's only in his 20s. So the doctor said that the muscle, because it's a collapse of the muscle, right? When it reaches the heart, that's the end of it, right? Because the heart is a muscle. So if that muscle fails, that's the end of you. So basically, he's on a short, and he still wants to work. Can you imagine that? So that's a great, When you meet Boon, have a chat with him. He's a really really nice fellow. Hishao, anything else?
No, I mean,
There's a lot to digest, huh? You can write your thesis.
in one topic, yeah.
Okay, Jinky, what would you need that you don't have now to be able to build your current career, you think? I mean, given that, of course, stem cell is a thing that you dream about and aspire for. But given that, that aside, say if you are in this condition now, you're working, what do you need? Do you have a good internet connection here? No problem.
No problem with the internet.
Okay, you have a laptop. You have
I'm using a desktop.
desktop. Okay, is it new, old, or
It's old.
you probably need some new equipment or something like that, or
If I would have the chance, I would like to have a laptop because it's not easy. I have to carry the monitor in front of me. I have to put what do you call this? A small table in front of me. Carry the monitor.
You have to carry
every time. Every time I do a session.
okay.
Okay, so I have to get all the wires and cables I need to adjust, and then the webcam, everything. Everything is so.
Okay.
Everything is not organized physically, and I'm actually having a problem with the CPU. I'm glad that it still cannot affect my work, but that's what Lei and I actually were talking about yesterday. I'm planning to save some amount to be able to replace my workstation because if this is the only thing I have, then I should be very competitive. I want to be very competitive because I'm always that type. It's just that it involves something that I need to buy, and right now I don't have budget for that. But I'm actually planning. And,
So a new laptop is what you need.
Yes.
Other than that,
yes, Lei and I actually agree that that a laptop is easier for my condition because I won't have to crawl every time I need to prepare for the session and then crawl back and fix everything again.
okay.
So if there are solves which usually you get 5
Last minute,
you
yeah,
won't
yeah,
have
okay.
5 minutes preparation sometimes.
Okay.
You don't have any single second to prepare. They just give you the solve and then you hit it.
Okay.
And sometimes I need to say pass.
Mm.
I'm sorry, I can't because I will need to set up everything again, pull everything, push.
Mm. Okay.